Welcome back to Chaos Corner. Here from the lounge at Chaos headquarters, it's your old buddy, the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy. And I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Once again, come on and hop into the time machine here at Chaos Corner on the YouTube channel as we travel back to October 25th, 1976 at Madison Square Garden for the WWWF, that's right, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, Old School. Follow along on the network, on the classic network, the WWE, or on the Peacock, and you can understand what we're doing here as we flashback, throw it back to the history, saluting the carpenters before us here on the YouTube channel. Now remember, you can't get to where you want to go or even to where you are unless you understand where you've been. This is my way of paying back to you, the fans, of when I was a mere young man, 10, 11, 12 years old. Here in October 1976, I'm 13 years old, 14 years old, and we're watching this like it was almost yesterday. So thanks for being here. Follow me on all social media platforms. Guardian of Chaos on the YouTube channel. That's right, here on the mothership. Follow me on Twitter in real time at Big Daddy GOC, and the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. On Facebook, there's 2 accounts. That's right, there's 2. J Brony, that's right, you get to play, J Brony. And Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. On Instagram, it's the Guardian of Chaos. Follow me on Rumble, Gitter, Gab, Truth Social. I cover it all in the IWC because it's me, the GOC, one man, unique, unscripted, unedited. I cover it all from the WWE to AEW to my home at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and I'm bringing you a new series, a new product, following along on the station for the Old School Worldwide Wrestling Federation here, October 1976. Let's get off all the other social media platforms. I'll meet you back here on the YouTube channel. All right, fans, thanks for being here. A little Sprite Zero. We're trying to kick out these podcasts, these shows, reality TV, whatever you want to call it, unedited, unscripted. You guys know this. Episode 6 here on the series of WWWF OG, Old School, if you will. We have an unbelievable card coming up here on episode 6. As I've already said, October 25th, 1976. Let's see. I'm 13 years old at the time, and here we are in 2023. Let that sink in. I hope you've enjoyed the series. We have a long way to go. We're going to see how far this goes. This is my stress reliever, and hopefully in these tough times, I'm here for you as a distraction. So we understand what the common theme here is: history, paying it forward, remembering those who came before you, striving where do you want to be and staying close to your family and your loved ones, and being a mentor and being not only good at your research and due diligence and what you love and what your passion is, but being the best person you can in general. So that's what this is all about here on the channel, and that's why I keep it raw dog. So let's get into the card. As I said on the last episode, go back and check all these out. They're anywhere from 20 minutes to a half an hour to run down a whole 2-hour, 2.5-hour card that you can get on Peacock or on the network. I don't know if you have to pay for it, don't have to pay for it, but you can get it here for free. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's see what we can do here for the algorithms here on Chaos Corner. And again, some of the undercard guys, the jobbers, the enhancement talent, the way they mix it up here and where they put the main event and how the card is shuffled around, it really was more and more solid workers. We open up here in 1976 at the Garden with the unpredictable Johnny Rods from New York City, 240 pounds, against from Puerto Rico, 230 pounds, and Manuel Soto. What a matchup this is going to be. And of course, Vince McMahon Jr. is still solo on the commentary. You have to give him a lot of credit because he put the product over and he did well. It's not easy to be one man. You guys know that. And then, of course, the introductions of what they did back there in the old school of the New York State Athletic Commission, the timekeeper, the ringside physician, the 3 judges. You don't see any of that tradition now. 1 fall, 20 minutes, whether it's 2 out of 3 falls, 3 out of 5 falls, midgets, ladies. You don't see any of that represented here in 2023. You just don't. Rods was in great shape. What a tough son of a bitch, legit in real life. It doesn't get much better than the unpredictable Johnny Rods. And Manuel Soto, the agility, again, the Puerto Rican culture and what it meant to there in the city at the time in the 70s, and the melting pot of the fans and just where you lived and the times and what it represented was over like a fat cat. His drop kicks and the way the traditional faces, as I've always said, as we started this series, the way they fired up back then with true emotion and passion. Yeah, I don't see a lot of that today. I'm just giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that's what impressed me. And again, with certain cultures, whether it be the Irish, the Polish, the Hispanic, the Asian, the blacks, the crowd reactions were just unbelievable in what each star performer brought into the storyline or to the melting pot of the fans of your race, religion, culture, creed, and how everyone got along, and just how you could do those storylines and couldn't do it today, whether it was kayfabe or not back then, which really made a difference in the business, let's be honest. So Johnny Rods, Manuel Soto, again, the selling of Johnny Rods, the begging off, the psychology, the stomps, the using of the ropes, the solid ring work by even the opening guys for the most part. I said on some of the previous episodes, whether it was 3 or 4, and some of the sloppier opening bouts and matchups, that's on the worker. But then as you move on, you could see some of the solid guys and where they're put to open up for the crowd, which was always sold out at the Garden and Felt Forum. Really was unbelievable, the body slams and how they used the ropes, and how Soto, even in this match, Manuel Soto got caught in the ropes. Again, no, hold on, all my Spanish-speaking friends out there. I mean, hey, Manuel Soto was unbelievable in the way the crowd reaction was to Soto. I've said it before, whether it be Victor Rivera, Johnny Rivera, Manuel Soto, Ivan Putski, the Bruno Sammartino, the crowd reactions and what some of these guys, you can't even believe it. Even to someone like the Chief Jay Strongbow and Billy White Wolf, or the Mr. Fuji, Tor Kamada, Professor Tanaka, the True Heat, Spiros Arion, Waldo Von Erich, Killer Kowalski. It really was representative in the clear heels and faces for the time, and what I think misses today. Let's not talk about the athletic ability and the stuntman performances and how they do it today. Okay, I get it. It's got to evolve. You've got to evolve with it. I understand. But I can't say enough. And then the opening bout, 11 minutes, 45 seconds, from a leapfrog into a drop kick by, again, an unbelievable, sensational, fired up face for the time, and Manuel Soto. Leapfrog drop kick into a flying body press to pin one of the toughest guys in the business and one of the best workers and solid ring tacticians, and the unpredictable Johnny Rods. 11 minutes, 45 seconds. Manuel Soto goes over on Johnny Rods, which leads us into the next matchup, which, if you listen to episode 5, this might have been a record for 35 seconds after it followed the Bruno Stan Hansen steel cage match from the summer of '76. Big Bobo Brazil is back to face off 1 fall, 20 minutes from South Bend, Indiana. One big son of a bitch and one tough guy, Gas House Doug Gilbert. What an unbelievable heel. Totally different than the curfew from the last time at the Garden, and that this is a rematch. And again, Bobo Brazil with that hopping on one leg dance, wearing the teal outfits with the matching boots. Pure class personified, with 6'6", 280 pounds, United States champion at the time, recognized for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. And again, the way he would fire up as a face for the day. Was there many better than Bobo Brazil? And again, representing their different section and part of the community, and just the crowd reactions from all different races, colors, and creeds. It just really brought people together. That's what you notice most in what I went through in my childhood growing up. I mean, it just really was sensational, as was Bobo Brazil, the explosiveness, his elbow smashes, the legendary trademark headbutts, the lockups, the clubbing forearm smashes from Gas House Gilbert, and the standing wrist locks that everyone sold back then, front face locks. I mean, the blocks, using the boots, stomping people, using the ropes, the simplicity of what I've said even on the first couple of episodes, and I'm trying not to just go overboard and repeat how great this was, but go back and learn, and it applies today. Just like when I did this series on the Complete Idiot's Guide to Pro Wrestling, A Match Made in Heaven by Burt Randolph Sugar and Captain Lou Albano, which was written well over 20 years ago, 25 years ago, but still applies to today's business, as do these videos and these tapes from the 70s of what I'm covering here on the OG Chaos Corner. Fans, listen to what I'm talking about. And simple right here. Gilbert went off the ropes for a big guy as he was, missed on a drop kick, basically. Headbutt by Bobo Brazil. Boom, there's the pin. A simple bang. Even though it was his head Coco butt move. Coco headbutt. Unbelievable. This match, how far did it go? I believe it went 6 or 7 minutes, but they felt longer. And again, the psychology of the crowd, kayfabe being alive, the showmanship, the selling, the body language, the playing the crowd, the referee, before you lock up, before the match even got started, the storytelling, that's what added to the day of what's missing today in 2023. So, again, second matchup, you get someone like Bobo Brazil and a solid worker like Gas House Gilbert. They even shook hands beforehand. Let that sink in, long before Ring of Honor was around. How about that? And Bobo Brazil and the way he fires up. The legendary fire-ups back in the day, whether it's Bruno Putski, Chief J, Bobo Brazil, Victor Rivera. Classic. Pedro Morales, the Latin sensation. Go back and watch it, and then listen to the crowd. Hopefully you'll get to see one of the videos where Mrs. Krieger is ringside, the old lady, beautiful, with the glasses and the silver hair. Somebody's mom and grandma. Unbelievable. We go on to the next match. The undefeated from the island of Japan, as he was announced, 285 pounds in their traditional robe and psychology and konnichiwa bitches and the salt and all that. Undefeated Tor Kamata taking on another face. We ended up knowing what he was as the Invader #1 and what happened in the 80s down on the island there of Puerto Rico with the Masked Invader, a.k.a. Jose Gonzalez. But here we are in 1976, 235 pounds from Puerto Rico. One of those baby faces, as I said, connected with the culture and the way they would traditionally fire up back then. Jose Gonzalez against the undefeated Tor Kamata. One of my favorites back in the day. I'll never forget seeing Tor Kamata in the 70s at the old New Haven Arena, along with Stan the Man Stasiak and Bruno Sammartino as the champion, and the Valiant Brothers, and the list goes on and on. Unbelievable. So, again, the crowd reactions, whether it be against Tor Kamata, who really played it up, and the showmanship of the salt and the sumo and just the whole culture of the Japanese and the Orient, if you will, it really sold, and it really got the heat with the crowd. And then, of course, the Puerto Rican fan base with Jose Gonzalez. The crowd reactions were unbelievable. The psychology, the stalling tactics by Kamata, the martial arts chops and the martial arts kicks, and the methodical moves and nerve holds by the like of Fuji and Tanaka and Saito and Tor Kamata, again, and just for the culture and the Japanese grappling at the time and the way it was represented. Doesn't get much better, and you wouldn't have that today. And then, of course, the arm drags, drop kicks, arm bars, the usual, the forearm smashes, the cartwheels by the baby faces, whether it be either Rivera, Victor Rivera, Johnny Rivera, Pedro Morales, Jose Gonzalez, S.D. Jones. I can go Manuel Soto. I can go on and on with the faces and their typical moves. This went 11 minutes and 36 seconds, and your winner, with pretty much a flying chop. Yeah, Konnichiwa. Again, Tor Kamada over Jose Gonzalez. In 11 minutes, 36 seconds, a chop into a pin. The simplicity of not these finisher kickouts and false finishes and all that. You didn't get that much unless it was in a big match. Maybe 2 or 3, at the most 4 pin attempts. When you got pinned, you got hit with someone's finisher or maneuver. Simple, easy. I've said it 100 times on this new series on the OG podcast here. Into a pin, and there you go. But it went with all the psychology and showmanship and the selling and working the crowd and just a different era and different time. It's like being in a Twilight Zone, but in a good way. Tor Kamada with your victory, which led into a matchup, again, if you think about their histories, and then the time here in October of 1976 in the city, Stan Hansen, who we know was embroiled with the legendary feud for the champion Bruno Sammartino against Polish Power. Once again, one of the guys that was a steady and just was a fire plug at 275 pounds, Ivan Putski. And in this match, what made it different on this card, if you could follow along on the network, Gorilla Monsoon was the special guest referee. And this starts off fast and furious with all the power, all the fire, slugging it out on the ground, on their knees, in the middle of the ring. Really, for the days, Hansen attacks the Polish Power. The crowd is, once again, I've said it in all these matches, at all these different cultures and ethnicities in the melting pot of pro wrestling, especially for the day, wild, insane, nobody on their feet. You can't even hear yourself think. That's how wild some of these matches are, especially amongst the ones putting the asses in the seat, which really seem to identify with the culture and the times. It really was something. This match it felt like it went 2 minutes, but it went 10 minutes and 26 seconds, and it was a disqualification. Gorilla Monsoon got involved. Hansen was disqualified. Putski went over. It really was incredible because then Hansen tried to get into the face, if you think about it for the time, and he was in great shape and still a big young guy, Gorilla Monsoon. So Hansen attacks, Gorilla slaps. So disqualification. Polish Power over on the big man from Borger, Texas, who really went on to be the legend that he is today. In 10 minutes and 26 seconds, a disqualification. So you see the different endings and the different storylines at the time. And of course, the typical big right hands by Ivan Putski, a big back body drop on Hansen and actually got him over. You know, the classic headlocks and the pounding rights. And, you know, with Hansen, you had the knee drops, the lariat, you know, the slugging it out, the elbows, you know, big rough tumble. Stan, it really was incredible, and the talent on the card. If you look at the total combined talent and the workers that are on here, whether it's the mid-card, the opening, the undercard, the main events, it really was incredible, the talent and who went on to be basically Hall of Famers, legendary people in this business. So impressed with Gorilla Monsoon as well for back in the time here in 1976. Can't tell you enough about the crowd and how they went wild and how Putski really sold back then. Again, October 1976, here at the Lounge in Chaos Corner, live to tape. Thanks for being here. We'll continue with all these episodes, whether it be every day, every week, every couple of days. Stay tuned to the channel. Usually Mondays and Fridays, I'll be on here live to tape, but other days as well. But those you can pretty much guarantee on. We continue October 25th, 1976. And here we go. Number 1 contender from Siberia at 315 pounds, wearing the white fur, a la looking like one of the Molo Mongols. Huge. Being led by Captain Louis Albano. That's right, number 1 contender, Nikolai Volkov. This is for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship. And our boy, with the golden boy, little pun in words, Arnold Skolin, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, via Abruzzi, Italy, Bruno Sammartino. This is the main event. They announced beforehand, obviously, the New York State Athletic Commission, the 3 judges, so on and so forth. The referee is Dick Kroll, the legendary Dick Kroll. And remember something about Bruno for the time, and because he's involved in a lot of these bouts, especially here in the mid-'70s, where the champions were Pedro Morales and Bruno mainly, mixed in with a little superstar Billy Graham later on in the day. and even some Stan Stasiak briefly, for you history buffs out there. Bruno was not above fighting fire with fire and bringing out the dirty tactics when necessary and the way he fired up himself. So I just want to throw that out there as part of my notes in here. And this is one fall to a finish. Remember, Albano and Skolin leave ringside, 250 pounds, Bruno. And this is where I noticed, I believe here, October, the fall of 1976, Bruno with a little bit of an afro or a perm, or where he didn't have the traditional slick back hairdo parted on the side and well manicured. This is more of a poof, like a Chia Pet afro for the day, permanent Bruno Sammartino, I've noticed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do some history and some research on here. And again, Volkov was what a beast for, back here in 76 with Captain Lou. And again, Abruzzi via Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at this town. And I can't say it enough, the way Bruno fires up, along with some of the other legends of the day, and especially Bruno and the crowd on their feet, never sat down, 20,000 plus between that and the Felt Forum and in the Garden. It just really was incredible. The crowd, it gives me the goosebumps. Just wow. And wow spelled backwards is wow. And in this match in 76, actually Bruno took to the mat and did some mat work with some arm bars and some leg locks and arm drags. And usually it's not from Bruno, it's bear hugs and the big right and the kicks and the stomps. But Bruno actually took to the mat on this one. So that was nice to see. And of course, you know what you get with Volkov. He was, the big stomps, the knees, the bear hugs, and the test of strength between these two, unbelievable, and the backbreakers and the chokes, and just the way the talent back then, the old-timers used the ropes, and how much Bruno fought against these much bigger men and monsters, and because of his strength and tenacity and passion, he always seemed to come out on top. One contender and bad guy, good, typical good versus evil, and face versus heel personified. And so this was a very good match. It ended up going 19 minutes and 34 seconds, almost 20 minutes for the day. Very good. And Bruno with the pin. In an unbelievable match where the crowd alone would make you think this was the most important battle in any contact sports or sports entertainment. Again, kayfabe was still alive. This was an unbelievable bout. And Bruno with your win. 19 minutes, 34 seconds, with something as simple from Bruno. And again, he actually did mat work, a roll-up, a little fruit roll-up for the pin, and Bruno retains the title. How do you follow something like that after 20 minutes in this matchup? Back in the day, they did. And that's why people didn't do the same maneuvers or the same matchups, so you could follow. But imagine the hard follow on this when you have, from Puerto Rico, another one of the sensations for the time in the melting pot of the city and a reflection of the population, Victor Rivera, against, from the Isle of Malta, typical heel, traditional, the Big Baron, Mikel Cicluna. This match went 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Tough to follow Bruno in any match, but especially back in the day. Victor Rivera fires up, as all the faces did in that day. Unbelievable. Couldn't be better against your traditional guy who would play the crowd with the psychology of Baron Mikel Cicluna. But your winner, October 25th, 1976, Victor Rivera over the Big Baron. Another match after that, and this is why you hang around and stay around, and although not the main event, picture this on this card in 76 from the Garden. King Kong Bruiser Brody and the Executioners against the Indians of Indian Billy White Wolf, Chief Jay Strongbow, and the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, here in October of 1976. A six-man tag team match with all legends. And let this marinate and put this in your pipe and smoke it. Not 2 out of 3 falls. 3 out of 5 falls. That's right. 3 out of 5 falls in this six-man tag team match. Andre Strongbow and the Chief against Bruiser Brody and the Executioners. Now, the Executioners, Worldwide Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, combined weight 575 pounds. Again, we talked about the combination of Pat O'Connor, Killer Kowalski, Big John Studd. teaming up with a 325-pound young King Kong bruiser Brody. And Andre at the time announced that from Grenoble, the French Alps, weighing in at 425 pounds, and then the Chief at 260 and Billy White Wolf at 245. And you see that the boy is back. Emilio loves being here. My Maine Coon, my best friend, loves to be a part of the podcast and the show, especially talking history. He wants to be on here and make an appearance and show you guys we're live to tape here in the lounge at Chaos Corner. Stand by, fans. Stand by. There's no edit button here. We're in the middle of a 6-man tag team match. 3 out of 5 falls. Stand by. Thank God the weather has warmed up a little bit. Again, as I said, a little Sprite Zero. Thanks for being here. I can't thank you enough. The boy's going to hang out. You guys don't mind. We're almost over with episode 6, October 25th, 1976. 3 out of 5 falls in the 6-man tag team match. And again, the Executioners start off with dominating on Billy White Wolf and Chief Jay Strongbow. Double teaming, cutting off the ring, traditional tag team work, as you would figure, using the bear hugs and dominating, as even Vince would say, and not politically correct, but I really don't care. It's my channel. You can get off. You can change it. Dominating the Indians just really was typical of the tag teams for the day and tag team work, and you could tell they worked together. And remember one thing, not only is this 3 out of 5 falls in the day, there's a 2-hour time limit on this matchup. 3 out of 5 falls, 2-hour time limit. Again, the matchup is really, if you think about it, an unbelievable bout between Brody, the Executioners, and Andre and the Indians, full of knee lifts and chops by White Wolf and Strongbow. Traditional. Andre finally gets in for the tag. He was tagged in, I believe, 2 or 3 times throughout this match in the 3 out of 5 falls. He cleans house. He bear hugs Brody. Brody actually sells for Andre. You better sell. You know Brody's history. Brody comes in, cleans house, kicks and stomps ass and chops and slaps the shit out of the Executioners, and again makes Brody look like a midget for the day. And Brody actually sells for him. An entertaining match. And at one point, the Executioners do take over, and they use it and do it the right way, like I would as a manager, especially for back in the day of kayfabe. And I know Captain Lou was the manager. That's who I mentored my craft after. He was a big influence. You got to work on one part. You got to work on the big chopping of the cherry tree and bringing down someone like Andre the Giant. So that's what they did. The game plan was perfect, although the managers did not stay at ringside back here in the 70s at the Garden. So I enjoyed that part of it, to learn how to take out the Giant and the way the Giant sold and the way all these workers sold. And today there's no selling. I saw no, listen, I know you get the foot stomps, but I saw no leg slaps. I saw power moves, simplicity in this 6-man tag team match. And again, the things that stick out, the first fall went 10 minutes and 50 seconds, almost 11 minutes with these 6 men and these legends in the ring. White Wolf ended up on a simple knee drop, pinned one of the Executioners. Let that sink in, the simplicity of just a knee drop by White Wolf, and they take the first fall. So again, 3 out of 5, 2-hour time limit. White Wolf pins the Executioner for the first fall. 10 minutes and 50 seconds. The second fall, you knew it was going to be quick. You already had the big main event with Nikolai and Bruno Sammartino, so you had to follow it up. You had the 8th wonder in the world in Andre, plus the tag team champions, the Indians and Brody. So you're saved with the talent there. The second fall went 2 minutes and 29 seconds, and it was a reverse with White Wolf pinning the Executioner. So let me correct myself on that, as I have the boy here on the podcast, here in the OG at Chaos Corner. The first went to the Executioners. I got to correct myself on that. I got to look at my notes. I don't want to be too hasty. We're 29 minutes in here on episode 6. We have to get this right. Or what's the sense of reporting it and have you watch along? So the first fall, 10 minutes and 50 seconds. I was right on the time, but it was Executioner number 1, I believe, that pinned Billy White Wolf with a simple knee drop. So I believe that was Kowalski, Executioner number 1, on the knee drop over Billy White Wolf, 10 minutes, 50 seconds. The second fall, we knew was going to go quick, so I'll jump right back on there. A reversal. Again, I'm correct with the time. 2 minutes, 59 seconds. Billy White Wolf pins the Executioner in a reversal. Pretty simple. All 6 men are in the ring now at this point. Remember, Andre's only been in once, and he cleaned house on the Executioners, and Brody actually sold, especially the bear hug part. It was unbelievable, and the look on Brody's face, it was priceless and worth it to watch this match alone here on the network. October 25th, 1976. All 6 are in the ring now. Strongbow, White Wolf, Andre, Brody, and the Executioners. It's going wild. 4 minutes. Wait, I want to get this correct. We're in the 3rd fall. It's 1 fall apiece. 1 for the Executioner and Brody, 1 for Andre and the Indians. The 3rd fall. All 6 men in the ring. 3 minutes, 10 seconds, and we have a disqualification. Where do you ever see that in the storyline? We have a disqualification. The Executioners get disqualified, and the referee, who was Dick Kroll on this match, in this wild, chaotic event, that's right, chaos, and pun intended, disqualified 3 minutes, 10 seconds, and awards it to Andre, Strongbow, and White Wolf. So now Andre and the Indians are up 2-1 in the best 3 out of 5 with a 2-hour time limit. And now here we go. Brody and Chief J Strongbow start off the 4th fall. That's right, the 4th fall, 3 out of 5. It's 2-1. So Brody and the Chief start off. Andre gets in for the 2nd time. It's pure chaos. As I said, all 6 men had just been in the ring. And here we go, a splash. A big boot by Andre on the Executioner. And then his traditional splash for the pin. 4 minutes and 5 seconds. 3 falls to 1 in the best out of 5 in a 2-hour time limit. Andre the Giant, Chief J Strongbow, and Billy White Wolf with the victory over the Executioners and Bruiser Brody. Again, I'll run it to you. The 1st fall, Executioners over White Wolf, 10 minutes and 50 seconds. 2nd fall, White Wolf pins the Executioner in 2 minutes and 29 seconds. 3rd fall is a disqualification. All 6 men were in the ring. It was insanity. 3 minutes and 10 seconds disqualification for the Giant and the Indians. They're up 2 falls to 1 in the best 3 out of 5. And then, of course, in the 4th fall, King Kong Brody and the Chief start off. Andre gets in, the big boot and the big splash, and the Giant pins the Executioner. 4 minutes and 5 seconds. 4 falls this took. 3 falls to 1 by the Giant, Strongbow, and White Wolf. This was an incredible match. To follow that main event and the placement of the cards and the selling and just these stars, 3 out of 5 falls, 2 hours. Where do you see that? Fans, thanks for being here. Episode 6. The boy is still here, so let's get off the air, but come on back on the OG series, WWWF Old School History Chaos Corner in the lounge with it's me, it's the GOC. I'll say that to say this. Don't you dare miss it.